Hi everyone, good day and welcome to today's video. We are going to be taking a look at the Bohr model, and this model strictly helps us to understand the atomic structure. Bohr was a scientist and he discovered the atomic structure on electrons. He founded it in the year 1913, and this was after Rutherford found the nucleus of an atom. So Bohr founded the atomic structure on electrons, where the electrons are located and how it works, while Rutherford discovered the nucleus of an atom, which contains the protons and the neutrons. Is that taken? So we are going to be looking at the Bohr model because it's often used in drawing the atomic structure, more especially in secondary schools and even in the second year in the university. Let's take a look at what this model or discovery was all about. The first one said electrons are only found on the shell and they move in a circular path around the nucleus. In my last video, I said an atom is made up of 3 subatomic particles, which is the electrons, protons, and the neutrons. Now, the electrons are found on the shell, not just anywhere in the atom. They are found strictly on the shell, and they move around just as the sun moves around, the earth moves around the sun. They are found only on the shell, and they move in a circular path around the nucleus. They surround the nucleus. They are always moving in a consistent circular path. Now in this topic, I want us to take note of something. Shell, energy level, and orbit all mean the same thing, but they could be used interchangeably, so don't get confused. The second model said energy level, also called shells or orbits, means the fixed distance from the nucleus of an atom where electrons are found, the distance between the nucleus of an atom to where they are found. For example, you could see the circle around the nucleus. The first circle means by one shell. In this diagram on the screen, there are 2 circles here. This means by 2 shells or orbits. What does energy level mean? Energy level, shell, or orbit. What is it trying to make us understand? Now, when an atom loses an electron, let me say they are in the 3rd shell, they lose an electron, they go down to the 2nd shell and then to the 1st shell, then back to the nucleus. But when they are gaining electron, they are going higher. From the 2nd shell, they move onto the 3rd shell and the 4th shell. Do you understand? Now let me give a practical example of what a cation and anion means. Let me say, for example, I have 150 naira, you have 15 naira, and we both want to purchase something and the amount is 100 naira. If I give you 15 naira, it means I have added to you, so I become a cation. Same thing, an electron, it's losing, then it has a positive sign because it has given out, it has added to something. I added to you. Now I am lending that money to, you are receiving. Originally the 15 naira is not your own, but because you got it from me, you become a what? An anion with the minus sign on it, because you gain from it, you gain from me. Originally it is not yours, so you're having a minus sign. So don't get confused. Cation, they gave, they added to something, they have a plus sign. Anion, they receive, they have a minus sign. Let's look at the KLM shells. According to Bohr theory, we have 4 shells on energy level, and this KLMN shell makes us understand how many electrons should a particular shell have before it says, oh, I'm full, then move on to the next shell. The K shell is the one closest to the nucleus, as you could see on the screen, and is the 1st shell, the L shell the 2nd, the M shell the 3rd, and the N shell the 4th shell. Now when an atom is gaining electrons, remember they are receiving, so they are what? Anion. Then they increase in the energy level. They could move from the 1st shell to the 2nd shell depending on how best they want to be stable. Same thing with when an atom is losing electrons, is giving out, is a cation, then it's dropping the number of shell. And meanwhile, atoms give or receive electrons because they are trying to be stable. According to this the Bohr theory, we have the actual number before we say this atom is a stable atom. Anything more or less than that, the atom is declared what? Unstable. So in the process whereby an atom is trying to find stability, it either gives out or receives. Do you understand? When the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons, that atom is stable. Do you understand? Just for example, you're using MTN line, then you borrow from MTN. Now, if you check your balance, you'll see minus. Let me say you borrow 500, you see minus 500. They are trying to tell you you have 500 naira, but it is not yours, you're owing. As simple as that. So now let's look at the numbering of the KLM shells. How many electrons should a particular shell have before declaring its full, then moving on to the next word? I'm trying my best to use the best and simplest of English so that we all can understand. So for the first shell, which is the one closest to the nucleus, which is the K shell, the number of electrons is 2, the second is 8, the third is 8, and the fourth one is 2. Now the 2882 you see there are mostly for electrons, for elements, that is the first 20 elements. Then while the 281832, they are mostly used when the elements is more than 30. Is that understood? Let's look at a practical example with chlorine. Chlorine has 17 electrons. So the first thing we are going to do is to what? We are going to draw our shell. Yes, we draw our shell, then we start filling in. The first one, which is the K shell, has 2 electrons. We'll draw it right there. The second one has 8, but first when you're filling, you make sure you fill the first 4, then you go round a second time. Is that understood? You fill the first 4 first, then you go round the second time. Now the last shell has 7. Now you actually could see on the screen it is unstable, because it needs extra one to be what? Stable. As this atom is right here, it is unstable because the last shell has 7, and according to our theory, it's supposed to have what? 8. M shell supposed to equal to 8. So here now it is unstable, it needs one more. So when it gets one more electrons, we're going to look at that in our next topic. When it gets one more electron, it turns to 8, and then it has the anion sign. That's why you see them write Cl minus. Do you understand? Cl minus, because of why? They are trying to tell you that, oh, this element actually received an electron. Originally it is not its own, but it's receiving so that it could be what? A stable atom. So when next you're doing chemistry and you see something like a plus and minus sign, it should make you understand that that's elements actually received or gave an electron. Remember, like I said, when the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons, then that atom is what? Stable. That element is stable. But anything less or more than this is unstable. Do you understand? So don't forget, cation gives, anion receive. Thanks for watching.